The first time we have a fan becoming a guest. Her father had so many stories.
Yeah. He wrote everything down on the old-fashioned buku latihan. Without any warning, I was jolted out of my deep slumber by the sound of many newspapers being flipped open and shut at the same time. It was a female head minus the body resting on the floor right in front of the entrance door. Her long hair was spread all over her head. Her face looked Chinese, bloodless, and was staring at me with bloodshot eyes menacingly.
Dude, that's... Oh my god, that visual.
We believe you.
And we're back
to another episode of
Naik Bulu Tales. I'm Mo.
My name is Fairil. And thank you guys for joining us again on this episode. Oh, on another episode, new episode.
Well, our final episode of the year.
Yes, guys, it is, wow. End of 2024.
Yeah, wow.
What is your New Year's resolution? To watch more of NBT in 2025.
Let's talk about it for a second. We started this in actually 2023, like
2 years.
June.
Well, a year and a half.
Yeah, May, June 2023. It was just like, all right, let's buy some equipment and just try.
Before we go any further, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like.
The huge.
And also what else to share?
Yes, share our YouTube, share our TikTok, our IG. We are on Spotify.
Don't forget that. So
which we need to upload more.
Yeah.
We're doing that in batches.
But yeah, guys, from day one, thank you for the whole community that's been following us and that has been watching our videos. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we know that our episodes haven't been consistently out as it used to be.
Yeah,
that's because both Fairil and I, and mainly Fairil, has been working hard on the subtitles. So everybody, English and Bahasa, we're excited for this episode because we had the first time we have a fan becoming a guest. Initially 6 months ago, she DM'd our NBT IG saying that her father had so many stories, and I was chatting with her. It's like we would love to have him. I think then a few weeks later it was like, oh, maybe not. And I was okay, no problem. And then just a few days ago I just messaged her again and said, hey, do you wanna? Because I remember she said, oh, I grew up with all these, I can't sleep late night anymore, and all these supernatural things are happening. And I was like, I replied to that message and I was like, you know what? We want you on the show.
Come on down.
And this time she was like, okay.
Yeah. So who do we have?
So without further ado, one of our super fans, one of your fans, one of you guys, Justwin.
Hello. It's me, Justwin, super fan.
I'm blushing. I don't know about you guys, but it's so nice to have you.
Yeah.
It is such an honor.
And on the last episode as well.
For the year, yes.
Thanks for coming down and actually, be kind enough to share stories, that I know is probably very personal to your parents too, because it's part of the experience that they went through, right?
Yeah, it's definitely very personal, but I'm honestly just so desensitized because I've heard these stories many times since I was a kid. It's so not special anymore for me, to be honest.
It's gonna be special for us though.
Oh yeah, I bet.
We can't wait.
So
we can't wait. She has a lot, so we're gonna go through them.
Yeah,
one by one.
So super fan, the floor is yours. So the table is yours.
So I'm sorry, people. I'm going to have to be reading them.
Sure.
No problem.
Because these words are not mine.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to start. Sorry?
Well, sorry, before you start, why don't you just tell the audience a bit, so what you're reading from is how did it come to this? Your dad wrote it, right? Or So she's just reading it off from what your dad wrote. I mean, in a way, right?
Does the story you're reading have context, or you're just telling his stories?
Oh no, these words come from his hand.
Right. Yeah. So.
Yeah, he handwrote, right?
He wrote everything down on the old-fashioned buku latihan.
Oh, that's awesome.
And in extremely old-fashioned cursive writing. So I can't read it off the fly if I were to actually use his writing over here. So I had to retype them into my phone notes.
Wow. She did subtitling of her own.
That's effort.
Transcribing. That's not easy. We transcribe all the time.
That's effort. We appreciate that.
If you have photos of that buku latihan with all his,
I do.
just send it to us because we want to show you guys how the dad wrote on buku latihan.
Please, So go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right. I think I will start with, in my opinion, the most diluted story.
Mm-hmm.
He calls this hotel haunting.
All right.
This unforgettable hair-raising incident happened more than 20 years ago. It was one of my usual trips to Penang together with my wife and a couple of kids. Not sure which kids. Pretty sure I was one of them. I could still vividly recall there was the eve of a public holiday. We started the journey from KL quite late, and by the time we reached the island, it was well over 10 p.m. that night. From then, it was like frantically hunting for a room which we could stay for the night. It was never easy as all available rooms were snapped up by the influx of tourists, local and overseas. A little backstory here. My family never ever reserves rooms in advance. It's just go there and figure it out.
Impromptu.
Wow. Okay.
We were practically cruising around town for at least an hour and a half, mostly aimlessly. We were on the verge of giving up when, to our delight, we bumped into a newly opened hotel situated along Penang Road. A signboard which read, "Soft opening," greeted us. I proceeded to the front office and was told that a few rooms were still available. It was a 12-story hotel, but only 5 of the floors were ready for use. We managed to get one on the 5th floor. I then told my wife, "Go up to the room with the kids and the luggage. I'll drive the car and park it in the basement." So after having parked the car, I walked straight to the lift, all alone. There's no one else in sight. I took a glance at my watch. 10 minutes to midnight it showed. I was also having a sense of relief that the ordeal of finding a room was over, and soon I'll be in the comfort of my bed without realizing or knowing that I'll be going through the worst hell of my life. Debatable. I eagerly pressed the lift button. The door opened up and I walked in. Again, I pressed the 5th floor button and the lift was ascending upwards towards the upper floors. But to my utter dismay, the lift did not stop on the 5th floor, but continued moving up higher and higher, even though I did not press any of the other buttons. Deep inside me, I had the horrible feeling that something evil was about to unfold. There was nothing I could do to evade this misfortune I was about to go through. As I had feared, the lift came to a stop at the 12th floor. The door opened up and I stood rooted inside the lift for a while. The whole place in front of me was nothing but complete darkness. I then reluctantly walked out of the lift, and what greeted me were piles and piles of debris strewn all over the place. I had to walk carefully for fear of tripping and falling over piles of broken tiles and lots of drums, those construction drums. As I walked along the corridor, I could see rows and rows of rooms on my left and right, some with doors and some without. There was a faint ray of light from the moon penetrating through the window in one of the open rooms. I would not dare to take a glance into any of the rooms for fear of meeting face to face with any of the hellish beings. I turned my head to the lift and noticed that the doors were still open, as if to gesture me to return. I sprinted back to the lift and the door closed instantly without me having to press any of the buttons. I noticed the lit 5th floor button was still on, and I was hoping against hope that the lift will bring me to my desired floor. Alas, it was not meant to be. The lift came to a stop on the 10th floor. This time, I walked out again searching for an emergency escape route through the staircase, but there wasn't any in sight. The doors to the emergency staircase were locked and I was in a state of shock and despair. I was thinking, there's no way in hell I was able to escape the horrendous situation I was in. Not being able to do anything further, I walked back to the waiting lift. My body was covered with goosebumps and my hair was standing on end. At that time, I said to myself, oh my god, what should I do to get out of here? In desperation, I started praying for help. I chanted Buddhist mantras continuously while the lift took me on a roller coaster ride, stopping at every floor and opening the door at every level. This time, I persevered and continued throughout the ride, chanting non-stop. Finally, the lift descended to the 5th floor, the floor I needed to be at, and I walked out as quickly as my legs could carry me. Went to the room. My wife thought that I was abducted, but said, I will reveal everything when the morning comes. And that's the end of story number 1. Like I said, quite diluted.
It's all right. I mean, somebody who goes through that kind of experience, I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen, right? You walk open dark, empty hallway in a new place.
Yeah, I always just imagine, like, what if the next door opened and there's like someone is like, boo.
First of all, your dad can write.
Yeah.
That is not. He wrote it on
like a novel.
Buku Latihan. It's not like he had ChatGPT to fix it up. And you read it very well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My God, tell your father he should be an author, or if he probably is an author in another life. But man, that is amazing.
I'm gonna have to agree with you.
Yeah, Penang. You're from Penang, so this is how long ago was this?
This, I think I was probably less than 10 years old at that
So
point.
you were one of the
over
kids.
20. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you were
pretty sure.
one of
There's no way they would have left me at home alone.
You said 10 when you were 10.
At least.
That's 12 years ago.
No, I'm 32, but thank you.
You said 10.
That's 20.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. That's why we do this. Not math teacher. But you're right. Oh my God, you're right. Oh wow.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
All right.
Okay.
I mean,
Do we have any? What? Okay, so
okay. Off camera, you'll tell us which hotel this was.
Oh yeah, I shouldn't mention any of the hotel names because
That's all right.
if you do or you don't worry, we can just
Bleep it out.
Bleep it out. But do you?
It rhymes with Diddy Bell.
Diddy, like P Diddy?
Yeah.
Did he do it?
Wow. All right.
Okay, so do you remember anything from that trip?
No.
At all?
No.
Too young to remember.
Too young.
Too young, huh? So from the story, what do you think your father went through?
I think that it was definitely very harrowing having to go up and up every single floor. And we come from a family that enjoys a lot of horror films, so I think his imagination as well was just through the roof.
That
I think he was
happens.
probably like shitting his pants. I don't know.
So so he was alone in this lift.
Oh, he was alone. Because the place was still under construction, so there's not many occupants as well.
Must be affordable at that time.
I imagine.
Okay,
All right. Cool.
let's go for the next one.
All right, next one.
Rapid fire.
It's one of my mom's stories, not a storyteller.
Okay.
So, these are just going to be my words. I'm not a big storyteller either.
It's all good.
All right, this place is in Cameron Highlands.
Of course. Shaira.
Probably not the same place. Plus, this was also, again, more than 20 years ago.
Right.
Whether it still exists, I don't know. I have to Google it. But it rhymes with Boba Macarena.
Oh my God. Okay.
All right. One night, after leaving the kids in Penang, kids aka us, so there's 4 of us, my parents would often drop us off at a relative's home in Penang and then go off to do their work. So they used to work in big furniture business.
Okay.
Went to visit clients in Cameron Highlands. It was about 9 to 10 p.m. by the time they reached. Before mom slept, she put a prayer book on the table. She used to do that a lot. She would put it, because she grew up Catholic and she later on transitioned into Buddhism, but I believe at this time she was still Catholic. So she put what I assume to be the Bible on the bedside table, went to bed. But right as soon as she put her head on the bed, on the pillow, she heard this really loud gushing, like wind gushing sound. She said it sounded like machinery and wind at the same time.
Whoa.
It sounds something like moo. I don't know. I can't really remake it, but that was literally her sounds verbatim.
Machine wind.
Machine, like really loud machinery and windy at the same time.
And at what time you said?
It was 10-ish by the time they reached. So check in, let's just assume it was
Midnight.
like 11-ish to midnight.
Okay, yeah.
Right? So once she heard that, she knew something wasn't right. And mom immediately just like told my dad, like, come sleep closer to me. Okay, so they huddled together. I mean, not like that rescues you, watch enough horror films. So she saw the room, the entire atmosphere just darken as those sounds came in.
Interesting.
And then all of a sudden she heard voices, and they were speaking in Cantonese. My mom speaks some Cantonese, not that well, but enough to grasp what they were saying. Right. So they were just super petrified in bed, just having heard the loud wind, and then all of a sudden there's voices speaking.
Hold on. So your dad also heard it?
I don't know if he heard it. Actually, I haven't asked him.
Oh, okay.
Good question. I know my mom, because it's my mom's story.
Right.
So
okay.
she said the voices were saying, it was a husband and wife pair. The wife was saying, oh, he asked me to jump. And then, and then the man is like, no, she told me to jump. And then they started arguing with each other.
I just got goosebumps.
Oh, me too.
I just got Naik Bulu.
Inside the room, they heard this. Huh?
Yeah.
It's two people who are accusing each other of suicide, apparently.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
I'm implying because you said jumping.
Yeah. It was definitely
right?
a case of jump equals suicide. So,
oh man,
my mom was so taken by it. She's shocked and, like, what is going on? I've never experienced this. So she was just listening, and then after a while, she shook it off. She's like, "No, I have to pray. I have to pray for this to go away." And then she tried. She started to imagine herself praying, but she found herself just so engrossed in their conversation. Wow. She can't help it. She said it's as though they just make you want to listen to them. And so, I don't know, she snapped out of it, and then she prayed, and after a while she said she saw a really bright light and then everything just went quiet.
What an experience.
Yeah, it's really short and sweet, but also like fudged up.
Right. It sounds like she had a glimpse of another world happening simultaneously with our world.
It's like also when you watch films, you have those little flashbacks, or they walk through a moment in time of that thing happening.
That's interesting.
So she could have been like walking. They could have been right at that time where.
Yeah.
Like in some films they do these things, or not even films, some other true stories where you have in haunted houses. Sometimes it's repetitive. There's that one moment in time where someone will walk down the stairs and you wait for someone. Some things like that. So maybe at that time they caught it at that point.
Reliving that pivotal moment in their life.
Correct. And
that's what they say in Catholicism, that it's a reliving suicide. You relive that.
Do they say that? I don't know.
I think so. You can ask your mom to double check, but she's Buddhist now. I'm sure she knows. Like suicide is. I mean, in Islam as well, suicide is a no-no. Most religions, suicide is a no-no. Apparently, they relive their time of death over and over again, which is their punishment
till the end of time, which is.
I don't know.
Okay, so we'll go on to your third story now.
Right. Story number 3 is in Genting, Highlands. It's another super, super short and sweet one. I think I'm done in 20 seconds.
Sorry.
Okay. It's one of the apartments there. So my dad used to be in the furniture business. So they actually had a client, a feng shui master, coincidentally. One of the very famous ones way back when. I don't know who he is. I'm not into feng shui.
Right.
His name is Master Yap Cheng Hai. I think you'd have to be super old and super Chinese to know this.
Sounds familiar. I think is that the one Harith mentioned?
No, I don't think so.
You know?
No.
There's probably 1,000,001 of them out there. Man.
Yeah.
So anyway, this unit belonged to this particular feng shui master. And my mom was vacuuming after the workers had left. She always does like a little extra cleanup work, a little personal touch. The customers feel happy. And as she was wrapping up, at the corner of her eye, someone was staring at her. So she looked up, like, workers are all gone. Who else is here? And it was a man in really tattered clothing, just standing there and staring at her. And she quickly ran out. So the thing with my mom is, her reactions are just really good. There's no stand there and like, it's just get the hell out of there. So she ran out, she locked up. She went to a client's apartment, another unit. He was just staying at upstairs. And he was there with his friends entertaining, having dinner. So she went up there, she didn't say anything. She just went and had dinner with them. And on the way back to KL, they were in the same ride together. And she told Master Yap what had happened. And he said, oh, don't be afraid. It's something that's so normal for me. And she's like, what do you mean it's normal? You mean you just go around your daily life just with these things around you? It's like, yes. She said, this Genting apartments I have here, I don't live here, but I host a lot of guests here, mostly clients and whatnot. And he said, sometimes they have complained about ladies just floating in. It's like random women floating in, disturbing them, sometimes not even saying anything, just disturbing. And then he's had accident victims come to him with their face like ripped off, some are headless, they're just like crying, asking for some kind of repentance.
Wow.
So what he does is to host these huge ceremonies, some rituals to pray for their soul, to cleanse them so they, just return to the spirit world, apparently. That's what he says.
This hotel still operating in Genting?
Oh, no, this is not a hotel. It's an apartment.
This apartment still operating?
I have no idea.
Because I'm thinking if it's that one apartment in Genting, that's...
Which one? What does it rhyme with?
No, you can Amber Court. Amber Court.
Oh, I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
That's right. That's the one. That's the one that it is haunted. It's abandoned.
Bad word.
It's not abandoned actually. People are still living in there, but it's very very limited amount of people. It's cheap.
It's cheap.
Yeah, it's cheap. Yeah. But this is similar to the story. I think it's Harry's story where they have this Chinese guy actually in Bukit Tengku, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if you listened to that episode, if you watched that episode. Was it Harry that told the story? It was, right, where he went there. Yeah, it was him. He went there to check on something, and there was a huge long line of people waiting for their turn to talk to this master.
No, I must have not listened to this one yet.
So, and every time, and then like he would listen to when he got closer and closer to his turn, he would listen to the stories that these people are telling, the sifu or something like that. And he's the one that cleanses or tells them what to do to be able to get rid of these things. Yeah.
He probably can see everything too. Just like
most likely.
Master,
Oh, I thought you meant the long line of people, the long line of dead people.
No. I was like, I was watching her reaction. Like, how come she reacted to that? No, these are humans,
real people who are
alive,
experiencing dead people,
beings.
Presently alive people. Okay.
To line up to meet someone that is like Master.
Yeah. So that was interesting. I mean, they're all out there anyway, and yes, they're all around us. The dead, the ones you don't see.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
They are.
don't say what.
You know that. This is at another hotel. God, this rhymes with Monday. Monday Hotel. Okay, let's go. This haunting incident happened during a holiday trip to Penang some 15 years ago. As usual, hotel rooms are hard to come by during the festive season and we never booked ahead. After having gone through several hotels, we booked a room on the 7th floor of this hotel. There were only a couple of rooms left, one on the lower floor and another on the 7th floor. For a better view of the city, we opted for the higher floor. Room 704 to be precise. Don't go there. We dropped off our luggage in a bedroom and left for dinner at a nearby food court. After dinner, whole family went to Gurney Drive and Esplanade for a stroll, walk off all those calories. By the time we called it a day, it was way past midnight. We proceeded back to the hotel, took a shower, and hopped into our nice cozy beds. There were 2 queen-size beds, one for my wife and I, and another for the kids. As usual, I would always take the part of the bed closest to the bathroom, for convenience, as I tend to use the toilet quite often, not fearing the consequences I was about to go through on a soul-wrenching experience. As soon as my head hit the pillow, I was fast asleep. Without any warning, I was jolted out of my deep slumber by the sound of many newspapers being flipped open and shut at the same time. The noise was deafening, and I had to cup my ears with both hands. The next thing I did was to look around for the source of the noise, and suddenly something caught my eyes. It was a female head minus the body resting on the floor right in front of the entrance door.
Wow.
Her long hair was spread all over her head. Her face looked Chinese, bloodless, and was staring at me with bloodshot eyes menacingly.
Oh my god. Dude, oh my god, that visual.
I know. I don't understand why he's not permanently on Xanax.
You hear that, Dad? You're getting roasted by your daughter.
Her eyes were so big, as if they were about to pop out of their sockets. I was shivering with unimaginable fear, looking at the grisly sight right in front of me. I let out the loudest piercing scream of my life, waking my wife up. The ghostly head thankfully vanished from sight instantly. My wife was upset and grumbled that I was forever having nightmares. Even though she insisted I go back to sleep and stop making noise, I didn't dare to. I turned my body to the other side and waited for morning to come. The first thing I did in the morning was to lodge a complaint to the receptionist. It's typical of like Chinese old men, and you complain about everything, even if it's a ghost in your bedroom.
Have to.
The female staff was shocked to the bone when she apologized and mentioned that these occurrences were real, as there were numerous complaints from other room guests as well.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Because sometimes these receptionists or the people don't actually admit it right away. Yeah.
She reassured me that her boss had sought the services of priests who had performed cleansing rituals recently.
Wow.
This just further confirmed that it wasn't part of my imagination. So my advice to everyone is do not stay in this hotel, as it may lead you to the Twilight Zone.
Rhymes with Monday.
Monday Hotel in Georgetown.
So I think I was sharing a link to these boys about I think it's a Singaporean podcast, and the man was a guest saying that most hotels have a memo of which rooms not to give guests. So either, I don't know why you guys still got that room, either if that's a thing, because maybe the receptionist owner thought they got rid of it, and your father saw the head on the floor.
But also these people don't care, right? Just
Maybe
give me the money.
It's possible
stay
they
there.
don't care. Yeah,
That's more likely.
Yep.
if they don't, but that's tough. If they don't care about their reputation, and they don't, that means
Could be made up, right? Anyone can make something up to tarnish their name. Especially when it's not something solid.
Interesting.
Something that you can't look at.
Didn't think about it. Okay.
All right. Wow.
The head. You remember the visual, the eyes popping out with the hair, just a head.
I saw it, man. I see it right now still.
Oh my god. Jangan.
Damn.
Oh god.
Yeah.
This guy.
Chalupa.
I mean, that visual's in my head right now.
Oh my god.
I think I'm a dream. Probably is going to go into my dreams tonight. But anyway.
So, but then you kids were next to the other bed, right? So you heard the scream and all. You were like, whoa, what the hell?
Oh no, I sleep like a dead person when I was a kid. Let me give you an example. We had house alarm go off because someone was trying to break in. I slept through it, and I even dreamt that music was playing until my sis came and kicked me awake.
Wow.
So no, I wouldn't have heard anything.
You're logged. You sleep with a log.
Yeah, but not anymore.
Oh.
No, you have kids, you don't sleep, right?
That's
right.
Okay.
You don't look like you have kids.
Thank you.
Too young. Besides, you're what, 22?
Oh yeah, I'm 22.
I brought it back. I circled back to my math.
Yeah, you have another story.
Yes. Okay, so this is my mom's story when she was much younger. She used to work as a data entry person at USM. Research, I think they collected data from households, and then they processed it. I don't understand. She never elaborated.
Right.
So
Sebenarnya she's a spy.
She wishes. Okay, so one day they were sent to Parit Bunta to collect data. So there were boys and girls working. So, the boys would go and collect it from the houses, no idea what data, and then they would bring it home for the girls, and they would, I don't know. I don't think there was computers back then, probably like write it manually into their files or something. So it was 4 girls and my mom in the house, and they were just chatting at night. And suddenly a large grasshopper flew in, and her friend Latifah caught it.
Oh.
Okay, she caught it and she said, oh, kalau ada nasi kat dalam, ada orang bela.
Kalau ada nasi.
Nasi ke beras, I don't know which one. My mom said nasi, but I imagine it would be beras,
I would
right?
think it's beras.
Yeah.
Alright.
So she started like fiddling with the head, like, twisting it up and down, all that. Then another friend said like, stop it, let it go, just let it go. Then that night when they slept, Latifah started screaming. She's like, aduh, kepala aku sakit. It's like screaming like crazy. And then my mom's like, oh my god, this is definitely some hantu stuff going on here. So everyone freaked out because they knew it was, coincidence much. But luckily, the penghulu lived like a few doors away. So we ran out and they went like knocking at the door, like telling them what happened, like come quickly help us. So he's like, okay, wait, he had kids, so he took them out. He had this like small little car of 5 girls. The penghulu and his 2 kids went in the car, so I crammed in there and drove all the way to where again? All the way to Kulim.
Wow.
I drove to Kulim, like super in the middle of the night, darkness of the kampung. I drove there. And then they reached an old Malay kampung house. And then the pakcik like bagi salam, and then they went in to berubat. Then they baca something, and then the girl went quiet, like Latifah, the one who twisted the head. And then another one yang kena, her name is Zaina. She started saying, aduh, kepala sakit.
I feel like this is like a setup for a joke. But keep going. You know, like no, punchline later. Okay. Okay. So Latifah, Zaina is our victims right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the pakcik took like a piece of ladder, and then he tekan on the ibu jari kaki, tekan there,
Okay.
and then like tanya like, kenapa you kacau diorang buat apa kat kau?
Wow.
And then the Zaina didn't tell why, but she said, don't lepaskan sakit, like the ibu jari, the ladder thing there. So he said, if I lepas, you balik kat tuan you. And then jangan kacau. Then he went quiet, so they slept there at the pakcik's house that night, because there's no way they're gonna drive back in the middle of the night to Parit Bunta.
4 girls and your mom.
Yeah.
Was your mom the only Chinese girl?
Yes.
Wow.
No, my mom, lots of Malay friends.
Okay, yeah. No issues. But kasihan your mom. This is the kind of shit Malays bring into the culture. Okay, go ahead.
You said it, not me.
Yeah, I said it. I can say it.
Okay, and in her words, she said her closest friend, Zurina, Keriau. I don't know what Keriau means.
Scream.
Oh.
Yeah.
They started calling my mom like, Nancy, ada benda bisik kat telinga. And then they quickly called the pakcik, and then he started like baca again, and then semua senyap for a while. And then my mom pula yang kena.
Oh.
She said someone bisik in her ear. And I was asking like, what did they say? It's like, I don't know, you can't hear it. It's just like muffled. It's really muffled, but you know like someone's whispering in your ear.
God,
Then she screamed, pakcik. And then again, he did something else, and he said, okay, dah tak ada kacau dah. Ada tangkap dia. Like that. I have no idea what the deal is. I wish she remembered better to explain it, but it's happened when she was, I don't think, even 20 years old.
Wow.
You know, it could be a pelicet. They use grasshoppers.
Oh, what?
Pelicet is basically...
I forgot how to explain what pelicet is.
So pelicet is a type of familiar spirit in Malay folklore. Generally a cricket or a grasshopper. The term literally means a buzzer, from the root word lecit, meaning to buzz or whiz as an insect does. But I guess they can put spirits in there. You know.
Today I learned.
Today I learned TIL.
Via beras.
So Latifah saying there's beras or nasi. That's interesting. That I'm not sure. Maybe that's what is fed to the grasshopper to do the bidding of whatever sent
That's
it.
really cheap, man.
Well, no, but black magic is basic. I mean, it's from back in the day, right?
I mean, think about
basic stuff.
I thought they needed something insane like the blood of a newly born baby.
That's just, you're watching too many horror films. Do you know how nasi kangkang works?
I don't know if my version is correct.
Okay, let's see what you
think.
think
In my understanding, nasi kangkang is nasi, one plate of nasi, and then the woman squats over it and blows her menstrual load over it.
Wow. Okay, there's a lot you said. Load is another thing. Interesting. Okay, so you're almost there. What it is when the nasi is just made and it's the steam, right? So a woman would squat over it and let the steam moisten up her groin area and bloop bloop back into the rice, and that is nasi kangkang. Nothing to do with period. So you feed that, or is this variation, nuances of these? So you feed that to your man, and he'll never look at another woman.
Isn't that just in modern day a vajacial?
Okay, now, so explain what a vajacial is.
Oh well,
you know what a vajacial?
Maybe we go to the next story. So let's get on to your next story.
Okay, this is my dad's one. He calls it haunting at my childhood house in Abu City Lane.
That's direct. There's no metaphor. That's exactly what it is. Thank you, Mr. Tan.
Yeah, you the man.
This ghostly encounter happened when I was in my early 20s in a pre-war house in the heart of Georgetown. As a kid back then, life was very simple, nothing at all like what we have now. There was no mention of spooky things or supernatural events, as it was taboo for us young ones to even whisper the word ghost. My mother would cane us if we dared to. But things began to change in my early 20s. I remember very well I was staying with my late father in that old house as the rest of the family had moved out to a newly acquired house. My late father preferred to stay put as he always had fond memories of the house where he had lived all of his life. I was very close to my late father, so I chose to stay with him. A few weeks after the whole family had left, it was just my LF and I. LF because there's too many late fathers in this story. Creepy things started happening. The sound of unexplained knockings and voices erupted on and off on most nights. My LF was a very heavy sleeper and did not wake to all these noises. I initially thought the sounds could have been neighbors, but it was too frequent and unusually loud. My concerns came true when I started to experience these harrowing incidents myself. For no apparent reason, I was awakened from my sleep and feeling paralyzed with fear. I felt unseen hands constricting my neck. My back would also be scratched or tickled. Sometimes I could hear the sound of weird animals growling behind my back, assuming these are the things scratching or tickling me. These unbelievable things would happen to me every night and always before dawn. Strange enough, it only happened after most of my family had moved out from this house. It was as though it was waiting for the place to empty before it decided that I was its victim. After every encounter, I would be drenched in fear and would sit in bed until morning came. One night when I was preparing for bed, I recall being so exhausted about the nightly attacks, unrelentless. I actually challenged it. I said out loud, "I'm not afraid of you. If you want, you can come earlier tonight." He said this in Hokkien actually. These words proved to be disastrous. Immediately after I went to sleep, I could hear a voice saying, "That was what you wanted, and I'm already here, and I'm standing right in front of you." I opened my eyes, and what I saw almost made me freeze to death. Standing right in front of me was this shadowy figure, standing at least 12 feet tall and very, very thin. It was so tall, I couldn't even visualize its face. It was mischievously giggling away while looking at me. It said to me in a very playful voice, "You are the one who provoked me to be here earlier." I knew it was preparing to strike at me. I struggled to get up, but to no avail. I was rooted by the being to the bed and at the mercy of this ferocious creature. Without any warning, the figure dropped onto my body and started to strangle my neck violently. I was choking as I struggled to fight my way out of its clutches. The tussle went on for a few minutes before it finally vanished and left me alone. I quickly gathered whatever courage I had to stand up, switched the lights on, and I noticed my late father just snoring away, oblivious to all that just happened. I didn't sleep that night. I stayed awake till morning came and related the incident to my LF. He agreed that we should leave as soon as we could, so we quickly packed up the rest of our things and left, never to return again. When I described the figure to my late mom, she said it sounded like I'd experienced a Hantu gala.
I was going to say this one? Yes, it's also known as a Hantu tinggi. Hantu gala is, very familiar with it. Wow. Well, I've also realized you seem like you adopted your late grandfather's sleeping habits. He sounds like he tidur mati as well.
Yeah, I've grown out of it.
Kids. Wow.
Damn.
Just imagine this 12-foot thing goes choking her father.
I mean, it's provoked too.
Sorry, are you guys? Is he from Penang? Because it's Georgetown.
Yeah.
Okay, so all the stories make sense now. Georgetown in his 20s. Wow.
In a pre-war house that my grandfather had lived in when he was younger.
That's generational.
Oh, that makes sense. Maybe back in the day, pre-war, they summoned Hantu gala to protect.
What?
There's a lot of things.
It's a lot of things that people use to blur just to protect.
Yeah.
To fight against whatever.
What do you know about Hantu gala?
Just from what I researched, because I've written an animation episode about Hantu Gala.
Oh.
Yeah. So I had to do a lot of like, this is what it is. This is what it does. It is high up above the trees. This is 12 feet, but some are even taller. That you can't even see the face, which your father has beautifully described. You really cannot see it. We've seen I think one of those Thai horror films, Phobia. I believe they have a version of Hantu Gala, Hantu Tingki in Thailand. That was freaky. The way the producers and filmmaker visualized it, it was very lanky, tall, and it's kind of like hair, just like it's almost like Gollum, like some hair and balding, but the teeth, bad teeth. It's almost skeletal looking, beady eyes, and the fact it giggles. That is what gets me.
You just gave me visuals I didn't need.
Sorry lah. Because with the territory.
But yeah, I mean,
he actually told us this story when I was really young. He happily demonstrated it. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Okay,
like he did the voice. And
oh wow! So he actually did the voice. Huh?
Yeah, it was a Hokkien conversation.
Okay, so maybe I missed it, but what did it mean by your dad summoned it or provoked it?
Oh, because my dad at some point he was like so over it.
He kept hearing him.
And then he's like, if you want to come, just come.
Oh,
you don't have to wait till your usual time.
Are you waiting for?
Yeah, basically.
He was daring him.
Challenging it.
It's the last time your dad challenged it. Yeah.
Never challenge. Just keep quiet.
Brave, Mr. Tan.
Or
brave
too
man.
tired to think straight.
That's true.
Oh wow.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
We're still on this train. Let's do this. Justwin track.
Okay, these are the final two stories. It's actually the same story, but one is from my dad and one is from my mom. Because she lived in that house with him.
Right, that's interesting.
Which one would you tell first?
Tell my dad's one first. Okay, so this house,
here we go.
My mom moved in with him after they got married. He lived there with his parents and two other brothers and their wives, if I'm not wrong. Let's look at it. This one's called the Cantonment House Haunting. There's haunting in all of the titles. God.
Sorry.
So unoriginal.
He's making sure in case we didn't get it.
This particular house was purchased some 40 years ago at a very bargain price of just over RM 80,000. It was located at the bustling Pulau Tikus area with amenities like a wet market, supermarket, food court, and close by to Gurney Drive beach area as well. It was a semi-detached house of about 8,000 square feet, with 6 rooms and a carport, which could accommodate at least 8 cars at any one time. 2 months upon purchase, the family moved in, and this is the house that they acquired after the previous house in Abu Siti Lane. There were 4 rooms upstairs and 2 rooms downstairs. My wife and I occupied one of the rooms upstairs, while my 2 brothers and their wives took the other 2 rooms. The remaining room was left vacant in anticipation of my KL-based brother, who occasionally returned to stay during the holidays. My elderly parents occupied the room downstairs. So that's all the rooms spoken for. The initial few months of stay, very peaceful. We were beginning to like the house when strange things started occurring, as they do. There were many times when we heard scratching sounds on our doorway, mostly on my room door, particularly at night when we were asleep. We didn't keep dogs, moreover, so where would the scratching sounds come from? So naturally, we took the weird sounds very seriously. There were also noises of the door to the vacant room being opened and shut violently, even though that unoccupied room's door was always shut. There were also unexplained incidents like dogs barking incessantly in front of our gate at unearthly hours of the night, every night. A pack of them would just gather and bark and bark and bark. As a result of these unnatural happenings, we were deprived of a good night's sleep. The whole family knew that something bad was being unfolded before our eyes. The actual horror started in my own room. I was as usual fast asleep when I was awakened by this eerie feeling of being watched, followed by the sensation of numbness, coldness, and being unable to utter a single word. I was like in a state of paralysis, being unable to move my limbs. I knew at that moment that something unworldly was afoot. I was at that point of time lying on my back, looking up at the ceiling. What I saw next was a tall, shadowy figure standing right in front of me and looking right at me as if waiting for the right time to strike. When I saw the ghostly apparition, I tried to yell out, but nothing came out. I froze when a tall figure dropped to the edge of my bed where my legs were. Then two shadowy hands stretched out towards my feet and started groping my legs and toes. It was pinching each and every toe and at the same time giggling away. The taunting went on for about 10 minutes each time before it stopped.
It's a long time.
I mean, honestly, it could have felt like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like an eternity, right, when these things happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And it vanished. I was able to move again. I felt very much relieved that it was finally over, but not knowing that the whole scene was about to repeat itself night after night throughout the incoming days for weeks and months. It's always the same, waking up at 4 a.m., feeling cold and immobile, and just waiting for the ghostly figure to appear and taunt you with your toes before it vanishes. Not being able to further withstand the onslaught of this mischievous entity, I decided to sleep with the lights brightly lit at night, thinking, hey, it'll make a change. Every bright light we had was left on. Thereafter, we managed to experience a few nights of peace. But because we had been sleeping with the lights on, the quality of sleep was dwindling. My wife started complaining about being unable to sleep and function well. So we compromised on just one pendant light hanging over the dressing table to be switched on for when we retire for the night. The dressing table was placed at the far corner of the end of the room. This particular light may not have been very bright, but it gave a cozy atmosphere as it was a warm light. Without knowing another hell-binding episode was about to unfold, we went to bed as we did, thinking one little warm light was sufficient to keep the spooks away. And as usual, I awakened, cold, numb, and unable to move, sort of waiting for the dreadful thing to come out and haunt me again. To my surprise, none of the usual stuff happened. I was wondering why I was left unscathed and started looking around the room as I still couldn't move. I scrutinized the room, and what caught my attention was a figure standing quietly in front of the dressing table. It wasn't moving and was facing the direction of my sleeping area, right at me. I made several attempts to look at her face to make out who it possibly was, but it was all in vain. All I could see was from the neck down to the tiny little feet. She was dressed in ancient Chinese attire, with a red blouse and long black pants. As I was looking at her, she started moving and walking slowly towards me.
Damn.
I was horrified and started screaming, but only muffled sounds came out of me. My whole body was shaking with fear, and I lay motionless for her to strike, probably to send me to the next world. Something came over me, and I actually thought, hey, I should pray. Not sure why I never did during previous attacks, but this time I quickly called out to my Divine Mother Guan Yin for help, reciting all the mantras I knew fervently, imploring for her to save me. And sure enough, and soon enough, the ghostly apparition vanished without a trace. After this, we had no other alternative but to sleep with the lights all turned on brightly each night. If you were to pass by our house at night, we were the only brightly lit house. 4 months after we moved in, we sold the house and moved out.
Wow.
A week later, the whole family went to a temple to consult a medium and related all the experiences to her. The medium, while in a trance, said it's all my late father's fault. He did not seek blessings from his late wife to remarry. She had died during childbirth while giving birth to their first child, and she was only 18 years then. And according to the medium, she was very upset she wasn't sought for permission to remarry. Even though she was no longer in the world of the living, she still demanded my late father's respect. So due to this anger, she came back to disturb the family. The medium instructed my family to perform a religious ceremony to appease her soul, and for my late father to apologize to her. And if we didn't do any of this, she would never cease to harass the family. So, sure enough, we carried out the ceremonies and prayers, and it stopped. Boom.
Ooh.
Hectic, I know.
Tragic, you know.
Romantic almost.
Yeah, because she was like sad. She was like, why didn't you just, don't let me know,
All I gotta say, your grandpa fucked up, son. Big time. Oh my God. So she died during childbirth, and he remarried after that.
Yeah,
right? That's what happened.
Yes.
Oh, she's angry. So pissed.
Yeah. I mean, who would know too? Like,
I mean, yeah. Who would you think? Yeah. Why would you think that way? Yeah.
If this scene has never been in a horror film, we wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah. To ask for blessings. To remarry. Wow.
Interesting.
Now you know.
I mean, I guess even like if it's just in your heart and you're just saying it to yourself, like, hey, I gotta move on and blah blah. Maybe she'll hear you, right? Or maybe he's just like, let go and.
Maybe we should apply to our ex-girlfriends. Like, I'm gonna get a new girl.
They're not
so
dead.
No, but the energy. Give her the blessings. I'm going for a new girl. I mean, you never know.
Wow. I'm interested to hear what your mom has to say about this too.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a little bit more towards the ending there.
She's probably like, see, your father did this. Her late father-in-law.
No, my mom is the one who's a bit more spiritually tougher.
Yeah, okay.
She reacts. She doesn't just like succumb.
Right.
I mean, she went from being Catholic to Buddhism, so it's like interesting. And she had different kinds of beliefs and faith. She sounds stronger spiritually. Yeah,
she is. I mean, generally. Okay, so this is same thing,
mom's
but mom's point of view.
Yeah, okay, mom's point of view. Okay. Here we go.
So she said, your father would scream every single night. And in the middle of the night, he would get up and switch all the lights on. And he never told her why he did that until she questioned him. And she couldn't sleep with the lights on. So once he actually told her what was going on, she told her mom, who then went to a relative's house to get an old fisherman's net. A used net to hang it on the door. I don't know what it does. I'm the net catches it.
It's like a dream catcher. Interesting.
Yeah, so they hung it on the bedroom door. Then nothing happened for a few days, surprisingly. Then she was also asked to get a bowl of rice and some garam. And then she looked out at the balcony. And then she pretty much prayed over it. Okay? After that, she scattered some across the room. Some kind of cleansing thing? I don't understand it.
Salt is used for cleansing, so.
And it was very okay for a few days. But then it came back. One day my dad started screaming again. So mom took the salt and she threw it at his body and said, why are you disturbing us? We are not disturbing you. How about you go to the next room instead to disturb someone else? One of the brothers. So sure enough, that night,
go Nancy.
My dad's brother saw a lady carrying a child walking into his bedroom's bathroom.
Wow. So it actually she did send it over to your brother.
She actually listened.
Wow.
So he's like, wait, what? Because his wife was in the same room as him. He's like, she's here. Who's that? So the family consulted a medium, the medium that my dad mentioned, because simultaneously my dad's mom was always sick and unwell with some undiagnosed thing. But then again, back then, what kind of diagnosis could you get? The turning point was when the affected brother, he actually went to consult that Master Yap Cheng Hai guy.
Oh wow.
Small world.
That is awesome.
And he said, cover your mirrors when you sleep. Something about if the mirror is facing your body when you sleep, you sort of enter a different realm.
We hear the same thing.
We have heard this.
Is sometimes they say your soul can go into that side, and that's a lot of things, but from that side exchanges to this side, something like that.
So something else comes out.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't have your ceiling mirrors for whatever reason. You're gonna use it, but when you sleep, cover it at least.
Ceiling mirrors.
Yeah.
Noted.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was that. But at the medium, my mom remembers way more than my dad did. The spirit said to my grandpa, my dad's late father, "Air sampai tahap hidung baru you cari saya. Your anak kahwin pun tak bagi saya." Wow. And you know.
Sorry, can you say that one more time?
Air sampai tahap hidung baru you cari saya. It's like something like when shit hits the fan.
Then you look for me.
Yeah. So it turns out it was his first wife who died during childbirth, and she was really angry because again he didn't seek her permission to remarry after her death.
Technically, she died during childbirth. She's actually by category a Pontianak.
That's what I asked my mom as well. Like,
Technically, yeah.
Apparently, she was stuck in a pond of blood, still bleeding and unable to rebirth.
Oh my, that visual right there. It's like The Shining.
Wow.
Oh yeah, why do you have to bring that up?
Hey, girl.
It's a horror.
You love movies.
It's a horrorful night.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So, the medium actually asked the spirit why she disturbed the family. And she said, "Kalau saya tak kacau, orang lain yang kacau." Like there's indicating that there's other things there.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh. So she's like, I better get there first.
Yeah, is she the least dangerous one?
I wonder.
That's weird.
Actually, you know,
funny.
if you look at it from a different angle, from a different perspective, she's like, at least I'm the one kacauing you guys because you don't know what these other things can do.
What if they all attacked at the same time? That's like
it's too much.
Because in the other world, you like
It's too much for humans to.
I'm just speculating, obviously, but if she is there to kacau him, just to kacau the family, just to say you did not respect me, but at the same time, she's not there to completely hurt him. You know what I mean? It's just there to say, I just need you to just say sorry. That's it. But
making a point, confine me.
But I'll keep all this potentially more evil things away.
Just keeping those motherfuckers at bay.
Yeah. Pretty much.
It's like, Hantu right over here? Yeah. He wants to mess around.
Yeah, they're waiting. They're waiting for their turn. You better apologize, dude.
Better do it now, girl. Okay. All right. Wow.
Yeah, so they actually they held this Taoist ritual.
Right.
So what they did was they got this like super large tempayan of red colored water to simulate the blood.
Oh, that's really
Precise.
cool.
And a banana tree. I really don't know if it was the whole thing or just part of it.
They do say that Pontianaks hang out on banana trees.
That's what I hear as
Banana
well.
plantations, yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Which I just don't know why they would. I mean, I don't know what's
with the banana.
What's the significance of them?
Maybe potassium. No, I'm not. Look, I'm just asking questions people thinking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, bananas. Why?
But,
That's funny.
To you, please.
Interesting. I gotta actually look that up.
Let's look it up. I don't know. Okay, if you guys know in the comments why Pontianaks like banana trees, banana plantations, and that's most when we research stories about Pontianaks, and that's what comes up. Is banana trees.
There's always it's always like
let us know
a symbol or something.
Right. So this red tempayan of the whole banana tree. I don't know. Let's just assume it's a part of the banana tree because that's huge, man.
Yeah.
What they did was to. Like something like they were walking around in a circle with a monk chanting the prayers, and then the whole family had to do it. They had to lift the tree up and lower, and lift and lower, and called out her name simultaneously. Lift and lower, lift. I like the more I think of it, I feel like perhaps it is a symbolism of she as the tree, and then like lifting her up.
Interesting.
To take her out of that, I don't know.
How big was it to play?
I have no idea, man.
That'd be big, but this is effort. Just to exorcise her.
Yep. So they did this for about a week, a whole week, and then the eldest brother dreamt that the late wife said, "Thank you for everything you have done. I'm paying you back now." So this is so Chinese, but she actually gave him like one of those 4D numbers to buy.
Oh, dude, yes. I've heard people go to graveyards and summon spirits to get these lottery numbers.
That's not worth it.
But did it work?
It worked.
It worked. You guys want summon?
He got just enough to cover the ritual expenses.
Wow.
So it's not
so Chinese, so pragmatic. Like that's the exact amount you're gonna need to pay for this. No way.
I'm not giving you no extra. Just giving you just right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I know,
So saying sorry wasn't enough. They had to do this ritual.
Yeah, I think because
So your late grandfather couldn't just say sorry.
I think it's because she died.
Yeah.
Out of the blue, right? And she's expecting this whole great life ahead of her with a child, and then
she
she
was
died.
young.
And it must have taken her by surprise
Yeah.
as well. You don't anticipate these things. You die with all these unfinished business.
Interesting. Interesting. To say blessings to move on. Wow. Okay. I mean, it's simple things really. I mean, you're angry. You moved on. You didn't ask for blessings. I'm pissed. Yeah.
Wow.
Something to keep in mind.
Well, that's
Respect.
But yeah, after they sold the house, they actually sold it to a goldsmith. My mom said the goldsmith actually rebuilt the house to look like a fortress. Like, I don't know, doing like something dodgy in there. And then she recalls the goldsmith also had an experience chased by headless ghosts from the Japanese occupation.
So that's the other
And
ghost.
then
Yeah.
they also left.
This is what he's talking about.
Yeah, these are the other
ghosts.
ones.
Oh, yeah.
that were
Oh
kept
my,
at
I
bay.
didn't even piece that together.
Yeah, that's the other ghost.
You're like, finally, we're free to catch out
One
somebody.
of many. She's like, okay, it's yours, guys. Take it. Man.
Yeah.
Thank you, next.
I think you next. Exactly.
That's so like you said, it's kind of like it's like a romanticizing it, because she's like, finally I can be at peace, but at the same time it's like, okay, y'all can go now. Your turn.
Yeah, who's next?
Wow.
I don't know what's happened to that house now.
I was about to say if you have any photos of it.
I don't want to
Fortress.
see it.
Ghost. You don't want to see it. Yeah, because this is before any of you were born.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is like when they just got married, right? You
Yeah, I
and your
was
mom and
still
dad.
an ovum somewhere.
dad. Or sperm.
Yeah, so guys, if you guys have any comments on Justwin's stories, please do write down the comment.
If you have as many questions as we do, please, so we at least she can answer some. She's been very good in commenting
Yeah,
on our
and-
past videos.
I mean, it's like, even though you're telling these little bites, it's not a lot to take in, but it's just quite a your family's been through a lot. Your parents, in that
Interesting,
sense.
yeah.
My dad is a magnet. I don't understand it.
Sorry, I understand him. I used to be.
Do you think it is? Do you think he's the magnet? He's the common denominator of this? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well,
Your
Dad or
need to
Uncle Tan
mandi
Or
bunga.
Mr. Tan.
He needs to be the bunga.
He needs to be the bunga.
But I would just like to say to your mom and dad, thank you so much for sharing your stories and allowing your daughter to come here and share her stories in the very
Yeah.
how do you say it? In the very nicely put way, like novel.
Yes, you should be an author, Mr. Tan.
Yeah.
But because you've seen your daughter do this, and this channel will be around for a long, long time. If you and Nancy would love to be on the show, we would love to have you anytime.
Any other
2, 3, 4, 10 years down the road. The load. She said load. Okay.
Justwin, thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much for
Yeah.
having me.
Wait. Out of the 9, there's 9 stories you told, right?
9 stories.
Okay. Out of the 9, which one did you like?
Man, I like the 2 perspectives.
Yeah.
Me too.
But that's one that was
Ooh.
my favorite, I think.
I think my favorite is the Hantu Gala. The Hantu Gala. Oof, that one's a good one.
Because it's always nice, because sometimes you always hear from one perspective only, right? But when the 2 of them there, you just like, so that's why you were doing this.
You have more information.
Yeah,
we have more information.
to put two to together.
Both perspectives. That's great. Wow. So thank you again for your time.
You're very
Seriously, appreciate it. I'm glad the timing was right,
Yeah.
Because we spoke 6 months ago. I think that's what it was. Even more could be. And then it just worked.
Word. And I hope you have a great New Year.
Yes.
Awesome 2025.
Yeah. Hope everybody had a good Christmas, had a good happy holidays, and a happy New Year. We're we're excited for Naik Bulu Tales 2025. We have so much more in store for you guys.
So we were hoping to, up our game a bit in 2025 for you guys. And also at the same time, if you guys have any suggestions to us, feel free to just put it down in the comments. We always read all the comments, negative or positive.
Suggestions in the types of videos you would like us to produce and see. We have a few already we've talked about.
Look out for it.
NBT team with M and Ayman.
Yeah. So happy New Year, guys. Hope you guys have a great New Year's.
Happy 2025.
Happy 2025. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Without further ado, my name is Fairil.
I'm Moe.
And this is
Justwin.
And we'll see you guys on another episode of
Naik Bulu Tales. See you next year.